Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Claire, disgusted with Kyle, breaks up as Audra's scheme goes south. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that fans can already tell that Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, is getting the ick from Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, as his allure is slowly starting to fade. Claire believes he is better than trying to scheme to bring Audra Charles, Zulika Silver, down. During the Friday, May 23 episode, Claire hated the fact that Kyle was being deceitful, and she encouraged him to do better and be better. Unfortunately, the newness of their romance is wearing off, and Kyle is starting to show his true colors. At the end of the day, he's an entitled, spoiled brat who wouldn't be where he is if Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, weren't his father. While Kyle is trying to act like a mover and shaker in the cosmetics world, he is far from it. Claire was right to warn Kyle about getting involved with Audra at any level, even if the end game is to ruin her and her new company. At the end of the day, the facial expressions Claire has given during recent scenes with Kyle have said it all. From her look of disgust while chatting over breakfast, Kyle is showing Claire who he really is, and she is starting to take notice. As Kyle talked about trapping Audra during the May 23 episode, to Claire's constant looks of disappointment during the May 26 show, when Kyle chose meeting Audra for a drink over dinner with Claire, we can see the writing on the wall. Looking ahead, during the Wednesday, May 28 show, Kyle and Claire will put a plan in motion. Audra recently proposed a publicity war between her new company and Jeopardize, something Kyle agreed to think about. Will he place his stamp of approval on it? Will he and Claire think of a scheme to turn the tables on the brunette with this in mind? Depending on what plan Claire and Kyle come up with, could this scheme blow their romance out of the water? The Young and the Restless spoilers imply that perhaps Audra won't need to seduce Kyle to make him look like a bad boyfriend, as he's proving this all on his own through his behavior. Will Claire dump Kyle because of his deceitfulness? Fans will have to stay tuned to the CBS soap to find out. The clock had barely struck noon in Genoa City when Claire Grace slammed the Abbott mansion's heavy oak door behind her, her heels clicking like punctuation marks across the marble floor. Her heart pounded with betrayal, but her face bore the icy calm of a woman who'd been burned for the last time. She thought Kyle Abbott was different, thoughtful, sincere, less tangled in the chaotic web of his family's legacy. But she was wrong. Hours earlier, Claire had received a text from Audra Charles, a name that still made her stomach twist, claiming she had urgent information about Kyle. Normally, Claire would have dismissed it as another of Audra's manipulations, but something about the message gnawed at her. Against her better judgment, she met Audra in the shadows of Crimson Lights, and what she learned there left her reeling. "You really thought he chose you?" Audra purred with a venomous smirk. "Sweetheart, Kyle's been using you from day one." Claire had bristled. "You're lying. You always lie." But Audra had proof. Screenshots, voicemails, and worst of all, a recording of Kyle discussing Claire with Audra, back when they were plotting together to take down Newman Media from within. Claire had been the pawn, the distraction, the expendable Kyle had tried to explain. His voice was laced with desperation, but Claire didn't hear remorse. She heard spin, PR, another Abbott trying to control a narrative. "You don't understand the pressure I'm under," Kyle pleaded. "This started before I really knew you, before things got serious between us." Claire stared at him, eyes cold and glassy. "So that makes it okay. I was your strategy. Just another chess piece in the Abbott-Newman war." Kyle reached for her hand, but she pulled away like his touch might scald her. "Claire, please, I never meant to hurt you." "You just did it anyway." And with that, she left. Not just the mansion, but the relationship, the illusion, all of it. Claire was done being collateral damage. Meanwhile, Audra's smug sense of victory was short-lived. What she hadn't counted on was Victor Newman himself discovering her duplicity. After weeks of suspicion, the mustache had his people dig deep into Audra's recent moves, and what they found was a trail of sabotage and secrets, linking her to corporate espionage, insider trading, and even a potential leak to a rival firm. Victor confronted her with the steely calm of a man who'd been playing this game since before Audra was born. "You thought you could outmaneuver me," he said, voice low and dangerous. "You don't play chess with the king, Audra. You get checkmated." For the first time in a long while, Audra was speechless. She'd underestimated Victor, and now the walls were closing in. To save herself, she turned on Kyle, feeding Victor more recordings, emails, anything that could shift the heat off her. But Victor wasn't interested in half measures. He wanted a purge, not a scapegoat. "You and Kyle both are done at Newman," Victor decreed. "And if I see either of you sniffing around my family again, I'll bury your careers so deep not even Diane Jenkins could resurrect them." As news of the fallout rippled through Genoa City, Kyle retreated into himself. He'd lost Claire, his standing at Newman, and even the tentative respect he'd rebuilt with Jack. It all crumbled, brick by brick. Summer Newman, watching from the sidelines, felt a complicated swell of emotions. Kyle's crash was painful to witness, but part of her felt vindicated. He'd hurt her too. Maybe not in the same way, but deeply. And now, the golden boy had tarnished his own crown. Claire, meanwhile, sought solace in an unlikely place, Sharon Roselle's. The two women met at society for a late dinner, where Claire finally let down her guard. "I feel like a fool," she admitted, sipping a dry martini. "Like I was living in someone else's story." Sharon gave a warm smile. "You were. But that doesn't make you weak. It means you were open, brave enough to love, even when it wasn't safe." Claire looked down, emotion swelling. "And now?" "Now," Sharon said, "you write your own story. No more playing someone else's pawn." Inspired, Claire decided to take a leave from Genoa City. A brief sabbatical from the drama, the boardroom games, the heartache. She needed clarity. Distance. But not everyone was ready to let go. As Claire packed her bags, she received a handwritten letter slipped under her door, unsigned, but unmistakably written in Kyle's handwriting. In it, he confessed everything: the manipulation, the fear, the regret. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't beg for a second chance. He simply told her he still loved her, and always would. Claire read the letter twice, then folded it neatly into her coat pocket. She didn't cry. She didn't rage. She just walked out the door. Back in town, Audra tried to salvage what remained of her empire. But with Tucker McCall ghosting her and Nate Hastings cutting ties, her influence waned fast. She considered leaving Genoa altogether, maybe Lay, where reinvention was practically a sport. But as she looked out over the Genoa City skyline from her penthouse, she muttered to herself, "Not yet." If there was one thing Audra Charles knew how to do, it was rise from the ashes. Even if she had to drag a few more people down to do it. Coming soon on The Young and the Restless. With Claire gone, Kyle spirals deeper into self-destruction. Can Diane or Jack pull him back before he does irreparable damage? Victor tightens his grip on Newman Enterprises, but an unexpected threat from within could shake the empire. Audra plots her next move, and this time she's playing for keeps. And when Claire returns to Genoa City, she'll be stronger, wiser, and not nearly as forgiving. Stay tuned, because in Genoa City, love is fleeting, power is poison, and no one stays innocent for long. Let me know if you want a follow-up or a different take, more dramatic, more romantic, or with a twist ending.